Political parties are the most visible institutions of democracy. They are the very face of democracy. They are the vehicles of democracy. Even less educated ones know something about political parties. They can identify party symbols, party leaders, and even vote for them. For many people, political parties are equivalent to democracy. But this visibility doesn't mean popularity. People criticize political parties for wrongs that happen in democracy. What these political parties are? Let's learn. In this lesson we learn what political parties are, their functions, why we need them, different party systems, classification of parties, 7 national parties, regional parties, challenges to political parties, steps taken to reform them, and suggestions to reform them. We shall divide the lesson into a few sections. By the end of this section, you should be able to meet 2 objectives. 1. Explain the structure and functions of political parties. 2. Analyze why the political parties are necessary conditions in democracy. Political parties are a group of people that contests elections to form and run the government. You have learnt that the developmental goals can be different and conflicting. Similarly, there are different opinions on what is good for the society. It is because of this reason that we find many political parties in a democratic country. Every political party is structured like a pyramid. At the bottom we find party supporters. They are also called party followers. They vote for a party to power. In the second rung, we find active members. They are also called party workers. They devote their time, energy and resources for the development of the party. A few of them become party leaders over time. At the top of this hierarchy, we find party leaders. These top leaders are usually referred to as party high command. They take major decisions for the party. Thus, parties reflect fundamental political divisions in a society. Parties are about a part of the society and thus involve partisanship. Partisan is a person who is strongly committed to a party, group or faction. Partisanship is marked by a tendency to take a side and inability to take a balanced view on an issue. They support their party come what may. They continue to support and defend their parties even if those parties take wrong steps. Partisans are good for the political parties. Are they good for the society? It is debatable. Let us move on to the functions of political parties. We can identify 7 major functions. Let us learn them one by one. The first function of the political parties is that they contest elections.
In countries like India, the party high command, or the top leaders of the party decide who should get tickets to contest elections. Suppose in Party A, Ram, Rita and Rahim are the ticket aspirants. The top leaders of the party decide which of them would get the ticket. There is the second way of choosing the candidates. In countries like the United States of America, the active members of the party hold intra-party elections to choose the candidates. Consider Party A. Suppose P, Q and R are the ticket aspirants. An intra-party election is held, where the active members vote to choose among them. If P wins the election, then all the party workers work hard his victory in the general elections. Same procedure is followed in other political parties too. Thus, there are two ways in which candidates are chosen. In the first way, the top leaders of the party choose the candidates. In the second way, active members elect the candidates. Which one do you support? The second function is that the political parties put forth policies and programs for the people to choose from. You know that people find and face hundreds of issues. There can be hundreds of different opinions on them. No government can handle such multitude of opinions. Parties group the similar ones to reduce the multitude into a just few and make policies and programs. The ruling party is expected to run the government as per the ideology of the ruling party. The third function is that they play a decisive role in making laws. Ruling party almost always succeeds in making a bill into a law, for it enjoys majority. All the party MPs and MLAs are directed to vote for the bill. Party whip is issued to MLAs and MPs to vote for the bill. There is a hidden challenge of no respect to voice of dissent in this function. The fourth function of the political parties is that they form and run the government. The party that gets majority seats forms the government. Leaders are recruited and trained. They are made ministers. This political executive takes all major decisions. Have you observed the opposition parties and opposition party leaders severely criticizing the ruling party? That is one of the functions of opposition parties. They criticize the ruling party for the wrong steps that it takes. By doing so, they mobilize opposition for the ruling party and support for themselves. They do so that the people vote for them in the next elections. The next function is that the political parties shape public opinion. Parties have lakhs of active members. Many pressure groups are extensions of political parties. Parties use them to shape public opinion. Parties often launch political movements. Public opinion crystallizes on the stand taken by a political party. Finally, political parties provide access to government machinery and welfare schemes. Active members or party workers help ordinary people to get benefits of government welfare schemes. Moreover, it is easier to get the work done by a politician than a government officer. Politicians do our work most of the times because they know that our votes matter in the next elections. Let's analyze why these political parties are necessary in democracy. They are of course needed to perform their functions. Let us think of other reasons. What could happen if parties don't contest elections at all? Every candidate will be independent. They can't make any big promises. Government may be formed, but its utility will remain uncertain. No one would be ready to take up larger responsibility. They are answerable to the people of their constituency. So, political parties are required to make bigger promises and to take up bigger responsibilities. Consider non-party-based elections. Take example of village panchayat elections where political parties do not contest. Suppose this is the village society. Once the elections are announced, the village society is split into factions. We see village society divided. Suppose there are only two wards, Ward A and Ward B. Each division puts up a panel of candidates to contest from these wards. Apparently, election happens among independent candidates, but in reality it happens among different social divisions. This is what political parties do. In other words, we need political parties to represent social division. Now, let us think of need of large and complex society. The rise of political parties can be linked to the emergence of representative democracy. An agency is required to gather vast multitude of opinions on a vast number of issues and present them to the government. A platform is required to bring representatives together. Parties are required to run the government efficiently and also to restrain the government from taking wrong steps. Thus political parties are necessary conditions in democracy.